Sermon 92 of Nahjul Balagah reminds us that God is beyond thought. God is beyond the extremities of creation. Some of the content of this sermon reminds me of the verse, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tarfa'u aswatakum fawqa sawtin nabiyya wa la tajharu lahu bil qawli kajari ba'dikum leba'adin antahbata amalukum wantum la tashurun. When it comes to the prophet of any age, the people were to lower their expression, their voices, in the presence of such a prophet. And it's also meant in terms of their life. If something came through an actual prophet of God in terms of revelation and inspiration, that one's own way is reduced. And, we're also taught good manners is that, you don't yell out when you can walk out and start talking to people. You don't, just yell across the field or any such things just to do that. You walk over and talk to people if, that's necessary. On the property that I live on, there's still bells about for when they would clang the bells to summon everybody in. They could have just waved or walked over and said something, but there's a lot of people all over in different sorts of, city, urban, whatever, that just speak too loud. Now, if everybody spoke so people can hear them, then, that would deal with a lot of anger and stress and stuff like this. Wouldn't have to be such. And one of the points about the situation that the prophets were born into is, they were to be in some sort of a good family, that there wasn't going to be a dispute about their ancestry and stuff like that, for example. And just like at the end of Surah 2, we're not making any discriminations or distinctions between them. They were of different times and places, and they all stood up and were honorable individuals. And the lamp of Islam under Muhammad is the one that's going to keep burning. And, just because Muhammad's dead doesn't mean, that he's still not the leader in that respect. So if you seek God's favor, if you seek to unite your book with the book on the side of the angels, on God's side and all that, that you're comfortable with the angels bearing witness to you, then you align into that. And where you've fallen into ignorance and misdoings, that trust can clear that out. And further advice, of course, can be found among his kinsmen. But not just because they're the kinsmen. That's not the thing either. Saying 117 reminds of a sort of saying that we find in some of the Sunni narrations, is that in regards to Ali and, others, particularly, the 10 who were given the news of paradise in this life, the people who could handle hearing that they would get eternal rewards in the hereafter, and go straight to that point. Those who exaggerate their position will be at a loss, and those who become enemies to them will be at a loss. And this saying particularly refers to Ali, but others obviously would have been implied. Some of the Shia narrations mention other characters like Abdul Basir, Hassan and Hussein, I believe. There's some others. Saying 118 reminds us that the only thing worth grieving about is, well, it doesn't say the only thing worth grieving about, but, being upset about not taking advantage of the opportunity, But then again, remember the sayings of the prophet about the ifs. If this was the case, and it's like, well, you don't really know. You don't. Saying 119 kind of reminds you of some of those Hindu or African myths or Native American myths where there's a world serpent. But we're talking about a poisonous serpent. So when the world's the thing in itself, it's full of the poison. And snakes can be pretty cool, as long as they don't bite you. So a smart person stays away from snaking. But snakes kind of weave, they kind of have a way that, they're not so straight